to referees being consistent. I think they should have had 2 penalties in the game so far.
Itakura. Endo. Another late challenge has got unpunished by the referee. Well, he has signalled that he's playing the advantage with Japan still in possession. Kamiya. Itakura. Trying to find the wide ball. Riaz. Good turn of pace. A little shove in the back of Nakayama, but he was strong, the Japanese defender. Palestine have already booked their place in the next round of the competition. Their victory over the host nation Indonesia last night meant that they will go through. Will Japan be joining them? Victory here would assure them of a place in the round of 16. Certainly been a more positive start tonight from the Japanese than we saw in their opening match. Nepal did sit back, defend deep. Ominami. Nakayama. Pakistan have had all sorts of problems to deal with, of course. They were suspended by FIFA for a number of months from all football competition. Jose Antonio Nogueira, the man charged with trying to get them climbing those rankings.
For me, that's a penalty. Very little delicate ball over the top.
Sakib was a bit rash in his challenge through the back of Maeda. There's Nogueira, the 52-year-old Brazilian. He's coached internationally with Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau and St Kitts and Nevis, among others. Sent a video message when he was appointed to say how much he was looking forward to working with the relevant age groups and trying to get them into a position where they can challenge for competitions. Clearly has a big job on his hands, doesn't have a great pool of players to work with. It's Kamiya, Maeda. Itakura. That early goal, by the way, was goal number 47 in 17 matches so far at this competition. Pakistan have barely had a touch in the opening 7 minutes.
Well, they found it very difficult. I thought the first 2 minutes, I thought they actually started pretty well. But the problem is, they're not pressing at all. They're very happy to drop back in their own half, and Japan are picking off passes left, right and centre.
Ball in from Maeda. Pakistan once again struggling to clear. Matsumoto. There's Aslan with a swing at the ball. Doesn't get much distance on. Now Ali can find Riaz. Once again, there's no foul. It's quite interesting, the Japanese situation with Akira Nishino stepping down, the man who was in charge in Russia. There's another great looking ball in, and another good finish. Goalkeeper rooted to the spot, and Hatate gets Japan's second goal of the game inside just over 8 minutes gone. Sakib beaten for a second time, and Pakistan, having conceded 3 to Vietnam, but worked a little harder in defence, have conceded 2 already here.
Yeah, it's a great goal again, quality ball in. So much time and space to run into, so much time on the ball. And when you have that much time on the ball and you've got that quality, you are going to score an abundance of goals. Japan were looking to score plenty of goals in today's game to try and get their goal difference up. They've started brilliantly. Very easy when you play against sides that sit back and want to drop deep, that you don't move the ball quick enough. Japan are moving the ball very, very fast, and at the moment, Pakistan cannot get anywhere near them.
Yeah, some clever movement from Hatate inside the penalty area once again. Here he is again. Maeda, good touch, it's 3. Well, Japan scoring at will at the moment. And 2 vastly contrasting performances. 8 changes made, and they've scored 3 goals. And Sakib beaten once again, and poor defending. Just the pressure from Japan causing all those problems.
Again, it's literally just so simple. Even the goalkeeper's positioning when he comes out, not really central to the goal. It's another good finish. I mean, the changes that have been made by Japan, but they're just moving the ball so quickly, so freely. And their finishing has just been clinical. Really has been clinical. I mean, if they carry on the way, this could be double figures.
Dazen Maeda becomes the 3rd goal scorer. Pakistan, probably more known for their cricketing skills. They'll have to watch this isn't a cricket score the way they're going.
Could be in a minute.
But just on that, just looking at the way the front men are moving, there's some very clever movement inside the penalty area, because that's 3 times now we've seen attackers finding space away from defenders.
Yeah, I mean, the movement's been excellent. And what's happening is they're passing the ball forward early and finding players. So many times when you play against teams that sit back like Pakistan are doing, you just go sideways and backwards and sideways and backwards. Japan are not doing that. They're being brave. They're passing the ball forward early. When you pass the ball forward early, you can't keep your shape against that.
Hatate, Nakayama. It's Akura, the captain. Ominami. So a poor wayward pass. We haven't seen too many of those inside the opening 10 minutes.
Japan are pressing really well. They can sense that every time they get tight, they're going to know that they're going to put Pakistan under pressure. They don't have that quality to take the extra touch.
We were just talking a moment ago about coach stepping down after the World Cup, by the way. There is the man who now takes over from Japan. Arsene Wenger was the #1 choice. Had great success at Grampus 8, of course, before he went to Arsenal. Japan finished 2nd in their group behind Colombia at the World Cup before going out in the round of 16. There might be a chance for Pakistan here to put Kojima's goal under pressure. Mansour, the player that was fouled.
It's a really silly foul to give away. Good opportunity. Set plays just become absolutely vital now. You know you're not going to have a lot of possession of the ball.
Hasn't had a shot to deal with as yet. Kept a clean sheet in the opening game. Risiki Kojima.
Riaz certainly looks at it. Hussein as well.
Lost their 2 group games 4 years ago in Incheon without scoring a goal. Pakistan beaten by DPR Korea and China. In danger of going the same way here. Can they get something here? Riaz and Saddam Hussein. It is Saddam Hussein, but it's way over the top. No trouble at all for Japan. Wasted effort, really.
Yeah, it's a poor effort, leaning back. No real conviction in it at all. It's all well and being when you sit back when you don't have the ball, but there does actually have to come a time where you have to put pressure on players. Pakistan are not doing that, and that's why Japan are finding acres of space.
It's a good ball across. There's a player taking someone in the centre. I think it was Maeda. The kid may have taken a knock as well, the goalkeeper. He's not been in the best of sorts. Picked up about 3 inches during the first game. I think it was Iwasaki that took a tumble. I don't think there was anything too much in that. A look at the opening goal.
Yeah, it was a great goal.
Iwasaki.
It was a great goal. I mean, Pakistan could have maybe have had a case for a penalty. But any time a defender has the ball at the back and he's got time, the minute he gets his head down, you know that he's going to wind it up and hit a diagonal over the top. The line was way too high, but Iwasaki, great take, great finish. It was a really good goal.
Plays for Kota Sanga in the J-League. In terms of development and in terms of looking at, you know, it's not just about this competition, as we've said, you know, Japan looking ahead to the Olympic Games in 2 years' time. So if this coach gets this squad of players for 2 years and looking at the way they've started, I know they're playing a team that's ranked outside the world's top 200, but if you can keep them together for 2 years to get that familiarity, they will be a real prospect at the Olympics.
Well, they will be, and you only have to use the success of the World Cup. Minutes from, well, almost taking Belgium out of the World Cup in that last 16. So there's a basis to say, look, they can go into major tournaments and do well. I played with a player at Celtics from Suki Nakamura, by far the best player I'd ever played with, technically unreal. So the talent is there. They've been successful in World Cups, but there may come a time where they now need a sort of a foyer of young players coming through and developing and playing in the bigger leagues.
It's a poor challenge by Hayat, which is going to get the game's first yellow card. Shinji Ono was another player that stood out for Japan, of course. They're not a team that tends to breed superstars, but they have 11 players on the field that can all do a job and be very efficient about doing that job.
Showing the manager's faith in the squad. 8 changes for today. That's a bad challenge. Just can't really argue about that from Hayat with the yellow card.
Itakura. Naganuma. Hatate. Looking for Maeda once again, headed away by Yunus. Japan must feel they can score every time they come forward at the moment. Oh, so another great shot on the turn. Iwasaki managed to get across the defender, but just did enough.
Just enough on the challenge in the end from Hassan. But you're completely right there, Mark. Every time they go forward, they look like they're going to score a goal.
I know you've done quite a few games over the last few days. What's impressed you so far, or have you seen anything that leads you to think that one team is sort of standing out at the moment?
Well, teams I've seen, I thought Uzbekistan were very decent in their opening game as well. I know Vietnam are going to be very, very strong after losing in the final of the AFC Championships. Their career always going to be strong, aren't they, with Son in their side. You feel that player of that calibre, I think, could probably win a game on their own, and you're thinking of maybe him playing against, say, like Pakistan today. Kind of think, how many goals will he actually score in the tournament? So there are periods and there are some good individuals in the side in each country.
Ball forward by Mansour, but once again tidied up comfortably by Japan, who've not been troubled at the back so far. Just that one free kick from Pakistan, which sailed high over the top. Just a clumsy challenge on the edge of the area. Lovely ball out to Endo right the way across, no one able to apply a touch. Two closing in on it. Great ball in.
Just waves and waves of attack. Endo getting in a great position here. That's a teasing ball across. Tactically, Japan have got it right. Going three at the back. Pakistan not playing with a recognised striker. He's going to try and compact that midfield. So it's so brave that three centre-halves get on the ball early. Try and pass it forward and rather than side to side every single time. Movement in the final third's been excellent. You can say Japan have certainly thoroughly worried their 3-0 lead just coming into the 20-minute mark.
It must be very frustrating as a coach when you train and you put a plan in place and then you find yourself 3-0 down so early on in a game, and basically, even at this stage of the game, you're almost talking about damage limitation rather than trying to go and win the game.
It goes out the window. You can do all your tactics, you can say who you're marking, you can work on pattern of play. But when you get beaten by one ball over the top after 2 minutes, then you concede another one, then another one in the first 10 minutes. He now looks at character of the players to try and dig in and maybe now get to half-time without conceding another goal where it'd be very difficult not to.
Naganuma. So a rash cross, but sailed out of play, come back in again, so it will be a goal kick to Pakistan. South Korea and Iran, the most successful teams in terms of wins in the Asian Games, 4 wins each. South Korea also have 3 silvers and 3 bronze to add to their names. Defending champions, of course, having beaten North Korea in the final in Incheon 4 years ago. Had a trial for Manchester United during his playing days, Hajime Moriyasu. Successful managerial spell with Sanfrecce Hiroshima, where he won the title 3 times in the J-League. Be interesting to see if he keeps this role, though, now having taken on the national team as well. It's a big ask being a national team coach these days. But may feel that, you know, the schedule of matches not great in international football. We have seen, of course, in the past managers manage a club and also manage an international team, but depends on their ambitions, I suppose.
I think it's an interesting concept of he can now look at the players that he wants to bring through. You've got time as an international manager to look at different players.
Referee stops play. There was a hefty clash between the two number 17s, Kamir and Hussein. Hussein just come off the worst, I think, just got a trailing boot in the face. Of course, I suppose it's quite strange because there's no real dedicated under-23 levels anymore in international football. It's only when you get to Olympics and Asian Games and Southeast Asian Games, it tends to be, you know, we have an under-20 World Cup every 2 years and under-17, so maybe they're feeling we don't need a full-time role for an under-23 coach. And a lot of the under-23 players, you look at teams like Nepal, probably 50% of their team have already played for the full national team.
It is as well, and I mean, if you take England, for example, under Gareth Southgate, he managed the under-21s, and a lot of those players were in his World Cup squad. It almost feels like you see a lot of countries, I remember Spain doing it and Germany doing it, where all the way through they had a pattern of play of how you've got to play before you go into that first team. So to drop the senior manager into the younger age group, and he can pick the players that he wants, and I think it's a really clever concept, and you may see more countries that are trying to develop players to get into their national team squad to probably go down that road, but can't argue with their finishing so far. It's been a real quality, even though the opposition have been pretty poor. You still have to do the job and be professional, and that's what Japan have been doing so far.
You know, as Koki Hatate